Oh, he didn't say anything like it was disparaging or anything.
It is 6 o'clock. Do we have the? Is fine. Yeah. All right, 6 o'clock. I call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As part of the agenda, I'll read the district mission statement. In partnership with the communities, the mission of the Dilworth, Flint, and Felton School District is to educate individuals in an environment of trust and respect so they become self-directed, responsible, lifelong learners. Roll call. We've got everyone here except for Micah, and we have Mr. Hunstead here, as well as Tracy Tolliston and Brooke Belka, and we also have Mark. No worries. No visitors, comments. All right. Any changes to the agenda? No. All right. We have a motion to adopt the agenda. Motion by Nicole. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Angela.
Me.
Oh, by Brittany. Sorry. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to number 5, public comments and rebel recognition. We don't have any public comments, but rebel recognition.
Well, a couple things, I guess, on the fishing league standpoint. Mike is not here tonight, but he shared with me on this weekend.
Saturday.
They fished Saturday. He shared with me, I think yesterday or whatever, that they got second place. So out of 19 teams in the Heart of Lakes Conference, so kudos to them. They fished Big Cormorant and did very well. Again, second place out of the whole group of 19. So that was awesome. The other thing I want to say about the fishing league, some of you may know or have heard or seen signs, but this Wednesday is their big fundraiser out at the Buffalo River Speedway. So if you have an opportunity to go out and support them, that is a great event, and they'd love your support. So if you have that opportunity. And then you were going to share a little bit about baseball.
Yeah, baseball, the senior legion, they went to state. They got 7th in state. And the junior legion went to state just this last weekend and got 3rd in state. So kudos to them. Well done, long season, and worked hard all season. So congratulations for a good season. Any other rebel recognition?
Thank you to everybody in the office and supporting the office. I believe some of the counselors are doing schedule changes. We were in feeding the football team, and the offices were very active with some new student was coming in and chatting with Andrea and had lots of questions and comments and concerns, and they were fielding them like pros. And I just know that kickoff day is always a big deal, so thank you to all of them who did all that work, as well as to all the students and coaches who are getting back in it with those 2-a-day practices today. So thank you to all of them.
Yeah, we're on the cusp. Any other rebel recognition? All right, we'll go on to number 6. This is reports. We'll start with the community education report. Tracy.
I did place a couple pieces of paper at your table, so we'll kind of probably walk through those along with the report, if that's all right. Overall, for us, summer rec had will wrap up on August 21st. We still have some art classes and baking classes that continue on until next week. We did have football camp wrap up last Thursday with Coach Soderberg, but as you will see, and I'm going to go over this more with our advisory council, but this is a report that we pull right out of AREP, so you can kind of see where we are with some of our classes, and you'll know, some are full and some are actually just starting. So if they say a low number, some of those could be driver's ed that are just starting for fall, or some of our, the holiday ball that we have coming up, and so forth. So those are all listed there, and we'll go over those in depth. with the advisory council and kind of just recap what are some things we want to look at modifying, what are some of the things that we might want to enhance a little bit or change, or boy, that class maybe wasn't a good fit. So some of those things we'll touch base on, but overall I think for us the one key for us this summer was we'll see a transportation increase of costs just because the fort was offline. For us, we had to do a lot more shuttling during the day, getting back and forth, and even Eileen said, gosh, I looked at that number and it was a little bit higher than it's ever been, and I said, yeah, I get it, I know that it was gonna be that way, but one thing too, in just touching base periodically with Leaches were the primary shuttle drivers this summer. There was ridership, but not as much as, some weeks obviously heavy, some weeks some days it could be 8 kids. Well, 8 kids, I don't think we should be running a big bus for 8 kids. So even just the idea of another van, 14 passenger, transportation staff right now, fully staffed and working with Eileen, she can get me drivers. So that's one thing that I've already emailed Brittany on for next year is Rebel Success works hand in hand with Summer Rec. So they always shuttle at 8:15, they leave Glendon, they go to Dilworth, and they pick up at 11:40 and bring back. And just knowing that if we didn't have anything, we still would pay for the time the driver leaves the barn to the time they park and all that. How can we do that a little bit more efficiently? So in February, we're gonna sit down and just go through, we've already touched base on it so far and just kind of, how did it go? And just knowing how many riders we get, we'll probably do signups next year. Is just like we do for the shuttle schedule, we'll put it out that here's when we're offering, if you wanna sign up, then we know that we're only paying for a new yellow bus, and the driver there versus, sitting idle. So, just trying to be more cost effective on that because I know that that's gonna be higher than we would want. But overall, I think it's gone well. It's just, even just hiring coaches, a lot of our coaches, we try to get an adult in there, along with some high schoolers. I know Brittany sits on our advisory, just even like flag football a year ago to making sure we have more adults there. Yeah, we have a lot of high school staff. We have one coach this summer, like for flag football, he was really, really, really good. And then we probably backfed it with about 8 high school kids. So just trying to hear what's out there and try to make improvements where we can. But that's, kind of a gist of Summer Rec. We meet, I think, again, as an advisory council next week. So we'll go over that in more detail. So if there's anything that you want to share about Summer Rec, Troy's on it, Brittany's on it, reach out to me and we'll kind of hash through some of those things. The Rebel Kids Care this summer, we had a large group this summer, 143 kids. And we had probably about 35 staff. Some of them, we truly work around every kid's schedule. Any kid we hire that works for us, if they're coaching football camp, we pull in someone else to fill in when they're not there. So I will say we have had a lot of new staff this summer, but we have a lot, we have probably 50 new, 50 that have been there. We are losing some really, really good staff that are heading off to college that have been here since we started. And they are phenomenal. I mean, it just makes me tear up just thinking that knowing we're gonna lose them. The Austin Andersons of the world, Grant Anderson, basketball, Sydney Perlyberg. I mean, some of these really good ones that they've been there since those kids started when they were 3-4 years old. So it's a sad day for us to see a lot of them go, but we know that they're on to better things. We've had a couple in our program, Rebel Kids Care, that actually have worked with us, and two of them have switched to an early childhood degree in college. So it's making an impact. We'll also reach out again for this school year. Last year we had 7 high schoolers that work experience with us. So they come over, they start at 2:30, work in early childhood for about 20 minutes, then they come and work in early kids care. And we take them, as much as they can. So we work with Ms. Everson on that. So that's a good feeder to maybe getting some of them into education or teaching or para work or whatever they choose. But it's been a busy summer. We've had probably about 6 field trips. We have one more this Friday. And we try to schedule our field trips so that if we take a group for an hour, we use that bus, we come back, we drop off, we bring the next group to kind of save on even the busing side of it, because every time you turn 2 years ago, we were running 3 buses in one day, and it's like, okay, pump the brakes here, gets a little expensive. So it's one of those things with our advisory council is just working on, we might have to make a couple tweaks next year. Even just one thing we changed this year, it really sounds crazy, is we went from pump spray sunblock to pump sunblock, and we probably saved $1,000. I mean, it sounds crazy, but when their kids are spraying and it's just like, okay, don't go for dance, But overall, I mean, it's just little changes, but we'll go through that with the advisory council on some of those things that we want to kind of tweak a little bit next year and kind of brainstorm some of those. Going into the school year, we're already at 115, and those enrollments just keep coming. I think we had 3 or 4 more today, so that is ongoing. It is in the school, we're fortunate right now, and I know at some point, just space will, could become an issue. Right now, we're lucky because we're able to get into some of those rooms that are occupied. But when you have 115 kids, you're gonna have 5-6 different groups that we've got to move in classrooms. Right now, we're able to use a couple down by the early ed room down there. We use a couple of the old science, south of the science rooms, we use some of those. But our main hub room, I'm gonna advocate that all the time. That room I would hate to ever lose, because it's the room right off when you walk in for our families, so they're not wandering all over. One thing I did share at our directors meeting with Shannon and again with Brittany and Katie is the one thing that for this summer is when you walk in door 3, the biggest thing for us is safety and security. When we walk in door 3, on the east side of the building, our families walk in and then they walk out. They don't buzz in and they don't buzz out. So there's times you're walking around the building and you see someone standing there, you wanna make sure, okay, who are you picking up, right? So that's one thing we've reached out to John just to see, John, is there anything we can do on that door? But we're looking into that just so that if they had to buzz in or buzz out, they could. But right now, when we go back to the school year starting, all kids and parents will come in door 1 and go out door 1. It's gonna be a little, if you hear any complaints, it's safety. We need to make sure that we see them coming in, we see them going out, and so forth. So just one of those things that we have to do just to make sure no one's wandering around. We're gonna have more additional training this fall for any new hikers, because we have obviously some new ones. As we roll into fall programming, we're working Christy Pepple on our classes. We're working with people outside the facility and current staff here to add additional classes. Christy Pepple is going to do an art club this year, twice a week, so that'll be coming. We're adding in more additional student and adult classes, working, like I say, with Lori Pender on some things and some other teachers that we haven't confirmed yet. Holiday ball, I've shared this with our advisory council. One thing we're doing with our holiday ball this year is we really don't get a lot of moms and sons coming to an event. We did the mother-son, just come in your favorite jerseys, whatever, and we'll play games. We're including them. We're making our daddy-daughter ball more inclusive, so now it's called the holiday ball. So it's a mother-son, father-daughter, grandpa, granddaughter. They just have to come with an adult like they have, and we'll make it special for both the moms and the daughters, and the fathers and the sons or grandpas. But that is the same weekend as it's always been. But that is a change this year, and it was well received by our advisory council. Homecoming shirts, we want to get ahead of that because we know homecoming is always at the beginning of the year or at the beginning of the school year. So those are already for sale online. We we had a little hiccup with a link that we sent out last week, so we're gonna send it out again. When you click on the picture on ARUX versus the link, they were two different things, so, we heard from ARUX, they did a rollout this weekend, and we have that bug fixed, so, we'll get, that should be going on. Again, we have, sports, speed, and strength, now during the school year, we'll be rolling through community ed. The goal is to have 32 kids per, month. I think right now, like for September, we're sitting at 15. So that is happening, and then we're going to be working with robotics as well. Early childhood, I won't probably get into that too much, other than right now, we're sitting at 106 kids for preschool. Today, we had 3 more registrations. So I'm going to be talking to Shannon tomorrow a little bit. I have an idea that's cost effective. Let's say that. But our preschool classes right now, we're sitting at 19, 20. And that is building in our halftime into those groups. So there is a little bit of thought on what would we do if we were to pull out the school readiness kiddos and still keep them in their own class. It might help, but we'll see. But because right now I think I have 3 kids that we probably emailed, 3 families probably 6-7 times, and it's crickets. So I still think, okay, there could be 103 instead of 106. So, but overall, I'm including them until I hear otherwise. But it is, early childhood is booming. It really is. 26 or 28 kids are part-time that have never been in our program before, and they chose the halftime position. So it was a good change. But any questions for me?
I got a couple. So we talk about Rebel Kids Care and 115 for the school year, 143 this summer. What do you think that max number? If you look at the current facilities and everything we have, what do you think we're going to max out at?
You know, Troy, I always will say, I don't want to say we'll keep taking them, but we'll find them. Because like we always say, every space in the school is shared space. So we always know that when school gets out until 3:30, we stay out of the teachers' classrooms. Right now, we're only going to be in one classroom, and that's going to be tots. So when Ms. Magnuson leaves at the end of the day at 3:30, then we'll go into her room. But in the meantime, we'll have snack and, you know, do that until we get into the room. Right now, we're utilizing 2 rooms down by preschool that are empty. And some of them have moved to another space, but we're lucky. 119 is huge for us because that's our hub, we call it the hub room. That's the old Vossler room. And then we have the 2 rooms south of the science room, where I think Lori Doiber and I can't think who else was in there.
Kip was in the one.
It was in those 2 interventionist rooms. We're using those right now. And we're using the ELL teacher's room. That one we're gonna get out of there because they're very busy in that room. So, but overall, I would say working with the site principals, we're very creative on space. We really are. Just to make sure that, one, we're not, you know, we were in 213, but that room is so busy for our EL that, you know, in chatting with Brittany and Katie, it was like, is there any way you guys can get out of that room and go to another room? So we did, just so that we're not imposing on their desk and things like that. So we have 5 of our own rooms, plus we're sharing the Magnuson Cox room. So we keep taking them until we say, Tori actually said to me yesterday on Friday, she said, Tracy, kindergarten is full in Rebel Kids Care. I said, oh, we're never full. So, because we were sitting at 32. And I said, we just hire more staff. We just bring them in. Because, you know, it works. We do make it work. It's 2.5 hours after school.
Do you have an issue finding staff, or have you yet?
No, I would say right now we're bringing back one who was a college grad last year. She's coming back. But I would say right now we could use probably 2 more people. This summer we had plenty of staff. But like I say, probably 15 of them are leaving us that are, it's just sad, but, we'll get more. We're reaching out right now again to MSUM. They have a platform that they use to hire, to advertise to kids for college job, for jobs. And I think we pay decent. I mean, no nights, no weekends, and you're starting at $15.25 an hour, you know, so, but yeah, our pre-K, kindergarten, and first grade are our biggest numbers. Biggest numbers, they're really, really coming, you know.
Those are 16-year-olds, right? and
Yeah.
older?
16 and older. And really what we're trying to do, we have 4 assistant leads. Like right now we have Allison, who's our lead teacher. We have Asha Belka, Alex Golds, Livia West, and we are losing one, so we'll have 4, you know. Those are the ones, like we always say, we want to make sure if we have an issue, that there's someone there besides me, or really they start with me and Allison if it's me to talk to a parent. But you know, this summer I chuckled because we had to combine our first and second graders, and split them up just because of, we had some little busy boys. But we're used to that. I always chuckle when I get a call and they'll say, Tracy, we got a runner. I said, okay, where am I going? But anyway, it's good. We'll fight staff.
Any other questions for Tracy? All right, thank you so much. All right, to 6.2, board committee reports, the personnel committee. And we sent out notes, in the process of taking notes while the committee meeting is going on. I think that worked out pretty well. We talked about the high school special ed teacher that was hired, Caitlin Soderberg. Kindergarten teacher, interview next Tuesday, and I see we have a new kindergarten teacher on the hiring list now. We have 4 interviews that were set up, and one was chosen. And then we talked about the MSUM Concordia para sub plan, basically working with MSUM right now to help supplement the paraprofessional group with substitutes, and it works really well for them because they can come in and fill in time as needed, as opposed to being a full-time para. They sub for paras, and it just helps solve some of the substitution problems that we have. Negotiations. Obviously, we've completed negotiations, and we're just waiting for Education Minnesota vote, the EM vote, and we'll start non-certified negotiations here in the next month or so, I suppose. Yeah, they were going to vote, but they had this little bit of trouble
Timing
getting
issue.
everybody in, come in during the summer, so they wanted to make sure they had good solid people able to answer any questions. And I think Shannon sent out teacher settlements summary just to give so everyone can kind of see how the negotiations went on. So that's what we have. Any questions or discussion on the personnel committee?
I will say, Brittany met with MSUM, Cindy, I'm forgetting her last name, I apologize, about the para thing, and I was a part of that meeting for a while. Because we're just short subs all the time, and we feel that this is probably the easiest transition with their students to see, hey, let's have them come in, get some hours, they can use it for practicum in certain areas. So they're excited about that, and then we can talk about, in the future, in MSUM, and we even had discussions with Concordia about would they adjust their schedules and how they schedule their courses, so maybe some more of these kids could get more time with schools, or us specifically, because we'd love to have them. And so they're working on that too. So this is kind of the start of something, if nothing else, to help us have coverage. So that's our plan.
It's good for them too. So
Oh, yeah,
it's a win-win.
yeah, that's our hope is.
Exposure for them will be huge.
Exactly, so then they can kind of go, hey, this is my thing, or it's okay, or it's not. But they can also get the hours that helps their credits, and then we'll pay them.
I was saying, and they get paid, that's a
Yeah.
bonus too.
It's a nice little part-time job, so, yeah. Hopefully we can get it to just keep evolving and get better for everybody. Anyway,
Any other questions or discussion? All right, we'll go on to 6.3, business manager report. Marcus.
All right, so good to finally be here and with you guys. We'll go over the board summary sheet. Kind of changed up the format a little bit of this sheet. The one that Shannon.
this one here,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like the board feels. So the top of it is consistent with what we've always given. But what we wanted to kind of add to it was showing the revenue for that previous month. Just so you kind of see where, how much money did we receive and how it covers those bills. But in addition, another major part of any cash flow here is payroll, so we also want to include that. So July revenue, it's not going to be as similar as, year-round. It won't always be like that because we'll be getting more in food service than usual when we start getting our reimbursements. But, as far as 1.5 million, that's not bad for the summer to cover the costs of what we have. And then, so payroll for July and August is going to look a little different because the payroll, the first three lines, I kind of break down and those three lines are actual employees that were working, 12-month employees or summer employees. And then I included the July payoffs because those are actually expensed in FY25, so they have to be expensed in June, so they cover the last year. But July and August is their contract, so they have to get paid off through that. So these are just the cash outflows that we have to make in July.
So it's just July, that's not August in that number?
No, not August. Yeah, so it's the two payrolls, so they're, it's not gonna look much different next month. It's pretty much identical for payrolls, so. The August payroll might look a little different from the above because obviously Rebel Kids Care, and then some summer teaching might not be as much in August. But that's, all the admin and all the directors and everything. Does anybody have any questions on that or how that kind of will play out going forward?
Just looking at the July payoffs, I probably should have asked this earlier. Taxes and benefits are almost as much as payroll. Is there a reason for that, or?
Yeah, it's just, when you take in the taxes, that can be 18% right there, and then the benefits, we have the Sanford, those bills are pretty large bills, so, especially with the teachers, because most of them, there's more insurance being taken by teachers than the other positions, so, it would start to show more of a variance overall, because then when you start looking at non-certified, there's not as much insurance taken, so then it kind of, but a bulk of the insurance is usually with the certified teachers.
Fund 1 is certified teachers.
Yeah, so Fund 1 would be any general fund, so certified, non-certified, admin, directors. Fund 2 is food service, so that would include, out of the directors, I guess, Shannon Miller would be in there. And 4 is community education, so that would be Tracy and then Rebel Kids Care, so. But most of the directors and admin are in Fund 1.
I think, as we talked about this, I think it was our work session, we talked about this a little bit, about having Marcus come, or was it after? I'm sorry, I think it was that, maybe it was there. We're just talking about having him here, because the one thing, when we're saying $300 and some thousand was our bills, it's, okay, fine, that's true, but there's a lot of what we spend money on. And people, as we start to talk about with our public saying, hey, 77% of our budget is people. Oh, okay, well then you're spending a lot more than 300,000. Yes, we are. And so that's where I think it was very important to get this put together. And then, so Marcus kind of laid it out and I said, well, hey, this would be a perfect first meeting for you or first presentation, because, let's see what people think, or does this make sense? This format,
So do these go online with our agendas too, so that people can see them?
do our finances go?
I send them to my inbox, so I just look there,
I don't think they do. It's just the minutes, right? Yeah.
And the second meeting, I won't be putting this bottom portion on, because I don't have a clear picture of that month, and the second meeting is it's just, basically you'll get the top showing, here's the more bills that you'll be approving,
So looking at this, if I look at the 318 and the 1.1, maybe about 1.48, I mean, that's what we have spent or that's what we did spend in July for funds.
and it actually, what should probably be included as well, now that we're looking at this, is the first board meeting, the board bills that were approved.
Yeah, that's all I was.
So there was probably, I think, the first board meeting was maybe around 150, something like that. So I'll add a line showing what we approved in the previous month as well.
It'd just be interesting to know.
And then have that total.
Yeah, so we told them we had this much cash going out and this much revenue coming in.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's kind of our story as we start talking about why do we need a referendum. It's like, you're only spending 300,000 and you got 1.5 million. Well, okay, now let's start paying people then. No, it's a good point. I think if we could have that total then at the end,
Yeah, I can.
that'd be pretty simple to add on. Yep.
And did we want to go with the budget to actual as well? Any other questions? I can kind of run through it quick, so, obviously on the left side, we have our 26 preliminary budget, and then the 25 finals on the right half of the page. So it does show that we probably spent 100-some thousand more, but I will say when I dug deeper into the numbers, they were actually, last year we might have spent more, but there was a timing issue because of a past tax payment. So we had to make a past tax payment in, I think September, but it was for a previous year. And so when we started talking with the auditors, they wanted me to make a reversal of that and move it to a previous year. And so the July numbers last year, I had to wipe off that number. So it actually took that 771 from probably 900,000. So we're actually in a good spot this year. I mean, as far as we've spent technology, usually our big purchases for technology are right at the beginning of the year. Last year we had student devices and employee refresh. This year we just had student device purchases, so we didn't have to do an employee refresh. At the very top line, the district office, insurance, I looked at those. We are up a little on what we spend for insurance, but I think that's kind of what you can expect almost every year. And then the elementary, middle school, high school, normally what I like to do is expense curriculum in September when the school year starts, because that's when we start using it. And that's if we prepaid in the previous year, but this year, a lot of the bills didn't come in until July. So we had to pay them in July, and we expensed them in July. So that's why it shows, like, especially middle school and high school being higher, because most of those curriculum items were for those years, for those grade levels.
So then September, so then when we sit and look at this in October or whatever, we should be more in line.
Yeah, because whatever was prepaid, I will start to expense in September just to make it so it's, when that school year starts is what I like to do.
Mark, this is through July, end of July, is that correct?
Incorrect. And so you have those percentages at the bottom, like it shows 4.21% and 3.84, but honestly, like those percentages of summer, that's just a number filler right now. We don't really start to see any kind of numbers start to average out until you hit September and October when you're having, here's the new teacher salaries coming in, and this is what a regular school year looks like. So summer can be all over the place depending on, some of those upfront costs.
We have questions throughout, but anybody have any questions?
No, it's good, it's good. And you just were interested. I'll just say this, I think this is great for Marcus, I think it's great for you guys that he's here once a month now. And so our public can see it, they can hear it if they want to. If they want to come to a meeting and learn more, they can. I just think it's important for us. And for Marcus too, like he said, hey, it's good for me to come and have to do this. So, yeah, I appreciate it, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to 6.4, superintendent report.
Local levy group, that's just a group, I think I shared this in my weekly update with you, that there's nine other schools that we're meeting every Friday with in the morning that are going for a capital project levy, some bond or operating referendum. So it's good. Brooke is going to attend it too, as other businessmen, or not business managers, but other people that are working through the voting and just all the hoops you jump through in order to have a ballot at the election. Great information. We have a shared webpage, a shared document, I should say, that has links to, hey, what's Alexandria doing? What's Breckenridge doing? What's DGF doing? What's more? And it's kind of nice. And so you kind of see what other people are doing, what's their communication look like, what are their struggles, and it's just good to sit down and listen, like, how's it going for you guys? Oh, it's good, and here's what we're hearing. How's it going for you? And it's early on, so I think we'll probably get more in depth as we get closer. But it's just a nice, for a lack of a better way to say this, it's kind of a support group, right? Because we're all going through the similar things.
So you made comment in your update or whatever about people, I mean, that's just the staff being nervous of all the stuff we have to do. Is that us or is that just the whole?
No, that's just us. That's like Brooke Belkin. The staff. So, and I say that because Brooke is meeting with it's just, we went over, we met with the county. I went with, because I have to help. But, okay, we gotta get the machines. Okay, we gotta get the ballot. We gotta order the ballot. Once we get the ballot, we gotta bring it over and test it on these machines. And then we have to get the judges and there's a few items. And so you start thinking about it and, Brooke is young, so she's excited about the opportunities to learn. Anyway, it's just, you start thinking about a small group, Brooke and Shannon, mainly Brooke, I'm not gonna lie to you, and you just don't wanna make mistakes, right? Because it has to be done by certain times. And so we have a calendar, we have a schedule, we're talking to each other. That's the other reason for this group is like, hey, yep, we're on schedule. Remember, you still got a week. Have you talked to the ballot people? Yeah. Have you talked to judges? Where are we at? When are you paying? It's just, so that's what I meant by that. It's a lot. And very much appreciative of what Brooke is doing and her communications with Deb from Moorhead and with Lori at the county and her team. So, so there's our support group. There you go. Mediation. So mediation, I was there Wednesday. It was, I left at 5:30ish at night, talked to David 2-3 times that day, called him with some discussion. And it wasn't a great day, wasn't an awful day, but we're still in the works. And
Slow day.
It was a very slow day, and when it's slow, the superintendent is frustrated, but it is what it is, it's a process.
What time did you guys start if you didn't finish till 5:30?
We started at 9, I was there a little after 8. So,
That's a full day.
yeah, yep. So it's ongoing. We have a facilities transportation committee meeting after this, so I can share a little bit more then. What the public needs to know is we're still fighting. It's still in mediation at this point. There are some other steps we're taking to try to push that issue a little bit further. JLG knows that's coming. And so, we'll just continue to work through some things. And I'll just keep you updated as we keep moving, I guess. So we didn't, it's not over yet, I'll put it that way. Okay? Summer work, the science room, the flooring is getting put in. I stopped by this morning. I did not have a chance to run down there when I got here this afternoon. There was a few pieces put in Friday. And there was supposed to be more today, so after our meeting, if you want to go take a peek, we can, but it is coming along, the flooring is getting put in. They said that it'll all be done and cleaned by the 15th, which is by the end of the week. So that's awesome. So we are staying on schedule, and they're gonna be able to get that done, and then we'll kind of monitor it once it's all set up and we start using facilities more, kind of how that, so Chase knows that too, so we'll keep an eye on that area to make sure it's doing what it's supposed to do, and then if we're a little concerned, as you guys know, about the other room, we'll tackle that next summer, and in the meantime, we'll just have remedies to make sure it gets fleshed out when it needs to, so. The gym is done, the volleyball team has been using it. The flooring, Chase is still working on that flooring piece that we're trying to get done. We met last week on that.
The hallway flooring?
The hallway flooring, so we get rid of that tape. The tape is off, but anyway, we're working, Chase is working with somebody on that. We had a couple ideas last week that he threw at them, and I guess his goal is still to have it done before school. We're just still trying to find solutions, so. That's that. MASA back to school conference, so the day before mediation, I was at the MDE MASA back to school conference. It was very good. I haven't gone there in the last couple of years. I used to, it's something, the governor was supposed to speak, he did not. He had to step out for something or whatever the night before, so he was out of town. But it is good. I was at, they have a bunch of sessions, they have groups that speak and whatnot, which is always good, but the sessions, I just spent most of my time in Kathy Erickson's. She's the head of school finance in the state of Minnesota. So we reviewed all the legislation and all this stuff, and there's just so many little tweaks. And I just wanted to sit through and make sure I didn't miss anything. So she's, if you know school finance, this lady's in charge of it. So it's, you get pretty deep into the weeds, but it's good because then you don't miss stuff, right? So we're talking about grants and all these things that are part of MDE's process. So that's where I spent the bulk of my time. It's good to touch base with a lot of, it's attended by virtually probably 80% of the superintendents in the state. So it's a good place. Referendum update. So I do have this is a fact sheet that we're working through today. Easy for me to say. Today, I made some other tweaks to it. He sent me this afternoon when I was already over here. It's not in your packet. So this is just something I printed out to bring to show you because it just came out today. We didn't share it with anybody yet because this is here. I'm gonna you can pass this around. Where you see circles in green, and there's some things that he's already modified. Like I said, he sent me an email right before I came in, so I didn't print off a new one with all the changes. This is gonna go, this is gonna be finalized, well, probably is right now, after he did all the adjustments that I asked him to. So this is something we can have, and it'll be available, so at back to school nights, I will be out and about. I'll have this with me, so people, here's a little fact sheet, here's our deal. The website, our plan is to have that up and running by the middle of next week. After the meeting, I've got the facilities meeting, I'm gonna just pop it up so those people can see. And then again, that'll go out, it'll go live next week sometime. And so Tracy too with communication, he said we have another meeting with them next Monday, and we'll kind of get that. No, we had to move it to Tuesday, didn't we? We moved it to Tuesday, and so we'll get with you too as far as how we're gonna get this stuff out. But they have created the website now, and it is, I played with it. He wanted to make sure all of our links were working. They took you to the calculator, they took you to this, and everything I clicked on this afternoon was working. And so he just wants to have us look through everything. There's a few adjustments, just like they had to do in here, with some verbiage and whatnot, and he was gonna make sure those got updated. So we'll see, when I pop it up here after the meeting, I can look and double check it to see, but yeah. So that is moving in a good direction, so we can start to get that out there, because I'm sure people are gonna start asking if they haven't already. Now we can have some fact sheets to share. We can direct them to the website next week. Just that protects us and helps you guys too with the messaging, right? So it's consistent. So that is that. September 16th.
Really quickly, will that website be embedded in our school?
Yes.
website?
Yep, good question, but yes. September 16th is, we just looked and we just had to pick a day. So that is gonna be a day where I have a public meeting. It is a Tuesday. There is a volleyball game in Holly. We couldn't find a date where there wasn't something. And so I was talking with Katie too, and we just said, that's the day. I mean, I don't know, because I also wanted it done before early voting, which starts September 19th. I think it's only fair that we have an opportunity for people to ask questions and whatnot before that. And so we will. That's the other reason why we picked the 16th. It'll be in the theater. Obviously, we'll get more information. That'll be on our website. That, we'll start to get that
Will it be in
messaging.
the evening hours, I assume?
It will be, yep. Right now, I guess we haven't said anything, but I'm thinking 7 o'clock or something around that time, maybe 6:30 to 8 or 7 to 8 or, yeah, which is something we gotta talk about. But
Will that be the only one, or will they have another one?
I think we talked about that too. Should we have another one? Right now, I think we're just gonna have the one based on what our conversations were, because then they'll start. I'm gonna be out at back to school night, so I'm gonna be at volleyball games and football games. I'm not gonna be walking around with a billboard. But I'm just gonna be at the game. So Nicole, hey, there's the superintendent. I'm gonna go ask him something. Great, come and ask. I need to be out, and then the fact sheets, we'll just have them available.
If we're having one on the night of a volleyball game, and then we, have a lot of the same regular people who are going to volleyball games, and you're present again at a different volleyball game, I think that offers that opportunity to both.
The parents of that group.
Yeah, so like, no one's being excluded
Right.
in any way. I think that's a nice balance, and I don't think, if they do have questions, they can reach out to any one of us, to you, to the
Yeah.
school, to the website. So I think that.
Yeah, and the other part for me, and you guys know this too, I need to be available for public, right? So if it's a Wednesday morning at 8 and they want to come, I need to be available Wednesday morning at 8 or whatever, right? It's my job to answer questions from the community. Gonna have the 24-hour rule, so Brittany Keel has a question about the referendum, and she asked me Monday at 7 at night. By Tuesday at 7 at night, I need to have given you something, right? Hey, great question, I'm gonna look more into that, or hey, great question, here's where you can find that answer, or here is the answer. Just wanna make sure I'm responding, right? Or our team is responding. And there is going to be at the website, it says contact us, I think it says. When they click on that, those emails are gonna come to me, and then I'll answer.
Have you been getting much response yet?
No, not yet. I think once this stuff goes out and we send that message out, obviously, because then they're gonna have something in their hand they can look at or they can click on, and that's gonna generate questions, I would think, or hopefully some answers as well. But I think that's when that'll really start to happen, so, yeah.
For the public need, is it just you? Is it multiple board members you want there? You want Marcus there?
Yep, so as we get closer, we just kind of made this decision today. No, that's okay. And I would say for you guys, if you can be there, great, obviously, right? I think that's a good showing. You're at a volleyball game, you're at a volleyball game, you can't. But if you guys can make it, if that's what works in your schedule, that would be really important for you to be there. Yeah, we'll have to talk about it, yeah. I'll have the dartboard on me and then you guys yeah. Yeah, but it's information. The one thing, when you look at this later, and again, it's gonna go public here later this week, strong schools, strong community, strong future, that's gonna be the title of that September 16th. Hey, we have strong schools. Here's what we're doing. We're very fortunate, we're very lucky, we have a great place, right? We have great communities. We talk about your summer celebrations and all the wonderful things that happen there, and the all-school reunion, and then, by the way, we have a future, and here's one way you guys can help us with our future, right? So the messaging is not just, we're rallying for rebels. We do have strong schools, we do have strong communities. And because of that, we're hoping to have a strong future. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of the messaging, I think. So I'm gonna slip this in, it's not on the agenda, but when somebody will ask me about our current enrollment and the questions, and I'll help you with that right now. We are at 1544 as of this afternoon, with 3 more, I'll put them in the queue, or something, whatever you want to call it. So there are 3 more potentially by tomorrow morning. That means we're at 1547. That is 40 students higher than last spring. We have 132 kindergartners as of this afternoon. So I don't know whose idea it was to add a teacher, but great idea.
Good thing we had that teacher.
Yes, because they're at 18.8.
We might need another one.
I did talk to another Brittany today, and said.
Did you?
Yeah, I did, and I said, oh, I'm surprised you haven't come and asked for another one. And she said, oh, shut up. Anyway, so.
Do you three in the queue include the two from the middle school that was talking to Andrea this morning?
That's in the 1540,
They're already, okay. So I was gonna say, they came in with a whole stack of paperwork.
Yeah, don't tell us they're sixth graders.
We're not gonna talk about sixth grade. No, sixth grade does have, there was some out in sixth grade and there was some ins in sixth grade, so it's almost the exact same number, it's 132. I think it's almost exact.
But the same as kindergarten too? How many sections?
Almost the same,
Minus one.
minus one, yeah, almost the same. Plus or minus one, no. So anyway, yeah, but that's a good thing, so we're encouraged by that, obviously. So there you go, just in case you had that question.
Any questions for Shannon?
When do the teachers come back?
August 25th. August 25th is the first day of workshop. That day I will have a presentation for them for the referendum. And then that's part of what I'll share on the 16th also, the public. And so maybe even go through that at a board meeting. So if people want to watch or could go back to that, I could do a presentation to you guys maybe and they think about that. Just so it's out there, that presentation. So, yep.
Any other questions for Shannon? All right, we'll move on to number 7. 7.1, approval of the regular minutes for the regular meeting, July 31st, 2025.
That was easy to say, David.
Somebody, I mean, do I have a motion? Motion by Troy, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Nicole. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. On to 8, consent agenda, approve the bills for August 2025 in the amount of
$318,583.34.
and your treasurer's monthly budget report was in the packet. This is also to approve the resignation of Julie Adelbold, paraprofessional, effective the end of the 2024-2025 school year, and then approve the list of fall extracurricular coaches. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Nicole, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Troy. Any questions or discussion?
For the bills or whatever, it looks like, did we buy that van, the service van? Maybe we already got it.
Yeah, and so during our meeting tonight, our committee meeting following this one, I have the breakdown for that van, we did order it. We will not, they're building in Kansas City in September, and we are not supposed to get it until November or December.
That's the food service one?
The food service one. Oh, I'm sorry, no, I'm sorry, I misspoke. The food service one, I'm sorry, Trey, the food service one we ordered through food service, and that's getting ordered. Actually, Marcus goes over tomorrow morning to sign the papers on it, then they're gonna bring it to Bert so they can put the end gate in for that. That's the food service one. The other one, for transportation we use for special ed, community ed, and activities, that one is the one we'll get in December.
Is that another activity bus, or is that a
Nope, it's a 10-passenger van.
van?
And that one is not on the bills.
That one is not on the
It's the
bills
food
yet.
service
The
one.
bill one is the food service one. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, good point.
Any other
Yeah,
questions or discussion?
One more. So for the coaches thing, so my comment would be is that, you know what, football, I think, started today. Well, I know volleyball started today, so I dropped my daughter off, but volleyball and football started today, so if we want to approve these in the future before the first day of practice or.
Well, interesting enough, coaches, there's a new law and rule on coaches. Came into effect. David, you could probably help me last.
Not last year, but, well, no,
During
it was
this-
part of the 2024 session.
Yeah, so so we were talking about this. So this is kind of more of an awareness for you guys, and that's kind of it. The reason I say that is, let's say, Troy, you're coach, whatever you coach. Season's over, Katie does your evaluation, you sit down, if there was concerns or whatever. At that point, Katie will bring that to me, let's say, geez, we're worried about Troy, I'm not sure we should have him back. The board would make a decision on you, and we have to within a window of time of the end of your season. You get a window. Instead of like whenever we don't like Troy, we can say, Troy, we're not having you back. It has to be within a window of time. I want to say 60 days or something like that at the end of your season evaluation. And so at this point, this is what's weird, and I appreciate you asking, really we can't do we wouldn't be hiring or firing at this. You're just looking at, here's the list of coaches, we have them, they're all covered. They've been all renewed for another year based on their evaluations from last year. The only exception to that may be, last year as an example, I think we had like 47th grade football players, so we added another coach. So that might be a new person on the list, like, well, they haven't been evaluated yet, we just hired Nicole to be our new coach, you know. So there are new rules kind of protecting the coaches in that, don't come to me a year later or 9 months later. If I'm not your person, I gotta know within a window, and that's the new law.
So then should we be approving on that, like, right after the season?
I think we do it 3 times a year.
We do.
So we kind of do it,
But we're doing the fall one right now, we're doing the fall one right now, just the fall is how I understand this, right?
Yeah, that's what that's the notes.
This says,
Just, yeah, it's just fall
It approves
coaches.
the list of fall extracurricular coaches.
So should we be approving them, say, sometime within that 60 days after the seasons end for fall, for cross-country, volleyball, football?
Yeah, realistically, we should be approving this at spring.
Yes, correct.
right.
I think this is for the entire school year.
it is, it's as of today, which can change because, hey, I'm moving, I quit, I don't want to coach, we can have a new person.
I think it's.
So the note on the
Oh, it's
note
almost-
on the,
8.1 states
on the agenda.
fall.
Fall.
I see it, on here on the agenda, it says fall, but this is all
And then
this year.
this shows color coded fall, so that's what I'm in my head.
And I don't really think, in terms of, we're approving, we approve hiring of folks after an offer is made. This would be similar in the sense that when we hire a first grade teacher, I mean, obviously they have to have a discussion and pick out the teacher. This is similar.
It's a good discussion, and I guess because it is a good question, good discussion, what is our role? We can get, I wonder if our next personnel committee meeting, we should talk about this specifically. So we can then set a precedent, set a procedure, a process, right? And so is it 60 days following the end of the season or by 60 days or whatever? Is that how we want it? Is the activities director gonna manage them and the evaluations? Do we get involved? That way we can have an open discussion. What's the board wanna see and do or be involved? Because it is a little wonky. We're approving a list, so it's like, hey guys, we got coaches, awesome. Short of that, it's already been evaluated and taken care of, so it's a little, yeah. Brooke, can we just do that in our next personnel committee meeting? Let's discuss this a little deeper, as far as maybe the process and the procedure moving forward. Fair enough?
I'd also love to understand, are we approving the actual bodies in the seats, or are we approving the number?
Positions.
Yeah, like, so for example, some of them say TBD if needed. Are we as a board approving like that we could hire it if it's necessary and they can fill a seat or,
Let's talk about that too, because in this personnel committee meeting about the number or whatever, because I guess I feel that's a managerial thing, possibly more on me to like bother you with it. So for example, like last year, we have 40 boys playing football, we have 2 coaches, it's like, yikes, we need another team, and I'm going, yeah, we need another team, let's go ahead and move forward with it, go find somebody, they're on the pay scale, and it's what it is, right? And so, it's a decision to add, I would always let you know that, in my weekly updates, it could be on the board, I don't know, that's a great question, is that something we need? It's a great discussion, so we can add that to it too, because that's where that TB is
as a
could.
placeholder?
It kind of is, right? Because, and I suppose she's left it on there because, some years, we've had it, the next year, we didn't need it, right?
I was listening to a couple of the guys talk outside of the football lunch today, and they were saying that those numbers are teetering in that bubble. So they're just kind of waiting to see what those final numbers end up being.
Yep.
Because they're a little high for one team, but not quite there yet for a two-team.
Yep.
Or at least that was what their thought was, so I mean,
So correct me if I'm wrong, did I share a little bit of this in my weekly update with you? I didn't, maybe, with the football, junior high football? Maybe I didn't. Because I was talking to Katie, we've been talking a lot about this, and so what she's trying to do is trying to find more games and not have to increase the coaches necessarily, but we have so many kids, then they'll have a rotation and then they can cover. So she did, so whatever time today was at noon or sometime today, I ran in, I said, hey, how's that going? She goes, I have found 3 more games. I want to find one more and I'm going to shift it around. And so, yeah, it's always, especially at that level, it doesn't matter. It could be volleyball the next year, it's basketball, it's football. You get an increase in numbers. You do, and then you go, okay, we're not going to say no to a 7th grader. Oh, you can't play this year. So,
Take
some
them all
grade
in.
levels seem to have such a high number, like our 6th grade girls have a ton of basketball players.
yeah, sure, they
It's
might
just-
get to the sport,
it's just-
yeah.
Yeah, it's just just way more than I would have ever expected for that, in those younger
Right.
years, but.
So, yeah, these are great discussions, I think. And then there is a new law, so let's talk about that then too, so we make sure that we understand that as well. Yeah. Good point.
Any other questions, discussion?
So are we voting to approve it? I guess I'm just confused. Are we voting to approve or approving it the way it is? And
That's the way the current motion is, okay. Any other questions or discussions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to number 9, new and unfinished business, 9.1, this is to approve the DGF Elementary, DGF Middle School, DGF High School coaches and employee handbooks. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Brittany. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Angela. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to 9.2, this is to approve the non-certified contract for Michelle Belinsky, food service, class 1, step 1, effective the start of the 2025-2026 school year. Do I have a motion? Motion by Tori. Do I have a second? Second by Laura. Any questions or discussion?
I will say this, so you're gonna notice a few other names here too. These are these little part-time pieces. She's found that she gets better coverage this way and/or they cross-train better. And so she has had a few that over the summer decided to go on to something else. And so she's hiring shorter shifts and more people, and it just is working way better with coverage. When somebody's gone, the other one goes, oh, I got it. It's a short shift. They can work it. Nobody's ever threatening overtime. They're cross-trained, they do other jobs. So she is trying this approach, and what she's seen so far, she's liked. So that's why you see more here too. It's that thought process. Yeah. Anyway,
Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to 9.3, this is to approve the non-certified contract for Kathy Cusey, food service class 1, step 1, effective the start of the 2025-2026 school year. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion from Nadine, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Angela. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to 9.4, this is to approve the non-certified contract for Eddie Small, food service class 1, step 6, effective the start of the 2025-2026 school year. Do I have a motion? Motion by Laura. Do I have a second? Second by Nicole. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to 9.5. This is to approve the certified contract for Liza Winkler, elementary teacher, PA plus 20, step 15, effective the start of the 2025-2026 school year. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Brittany. Do I have a second?
second.
Second by Troy. My nose. Any questions or discussion?
this is that kindergarten position that we've just added. So, we need it.
Any questions or discussion?
Yeah.
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I'm sorry, can you tell me again understand how many sections we now have?
7.
7. Okay.
Yep, no, that's, yep, good
I was
question.
doing the math quick and I wasn't mathing, so.
Yep. It wasn't mapping. I've been there.
On to 10.1, the next board meeting will be Monday, August 25th, 2025, at 6 PM here in the DGF Community Room, Clinton site. 10.2, the Policies Committee meeting will be following the school board meeting here in the same site. Number 11, adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn the regular meeting?
So moved.
Motion by Nicole, do I have a second? Second by Laura. Questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Meeting is adjourned. 7:05.
I will thank you.